"He who wears my cassock," replied the Bodhisattva, "will not fall into perdition, will not suffer in hell, will not encounter violence, and will not meet tigers and wolves." That's how good it is. But if the person happens to be a foolish monk who relishes pleasures and rejoices in iniquities, or a priest who obeys neither the dietary laws nor the commandments, or a worldly fellow who attacks the sutras and slanders the Buddha, he will never even get to see my cassock. That's what's bad about it. The chief minister asked again, "What do you mean? It will be expensive for some and not expensive for others." "He who does not follow the law of Buddha," said the Bodhisattva, "or revere the 3 jewels will be required to pay 7,000 taels if he insists on buying my cassock and my staff. That's how expensive it'll be. But if he honors the 3 jewels, rejoices in doing good deeds, and obeys our Buddha, he is a person worthy of these things. I shall willingly give him the cassock and the staff to establish an affinity of goodness with him." That's what I meant when I said that for some it would cost nothing. When Xiao Yu heard these words, his face could not hide his pleasure, for he knew that this was a good person. He dismounted at once and greeted the Bodhisattva ceremoniously, saying, "Your Holy Eminence, please pardon whatever offense Xiao Yu might have caused. Our great Tang Emperor is a most religious person, and all the officials of his court are like-minded. In fact, we have just begun a grand mass of land and water, and this cassock will be most appropriate for the use of Qin Shenzong, the grand expositor of the faith. Let me go with you to have an audience with the throne." The Bodhisattva was happy to comply with the suggestion. They turned around and went into the eastern flower gate. The custodian of the yellow door went inside to make the report, and they were summoned to the treasure hall, where Xiao Yu and the 2 monks covered with scabs and sores stood below the steps. "What does Xiao Yu want to report to us?" asked the Tang Emperor. Prostrating himself before the steps, Xiao Yu said, "Your subject going out of the eastern flower gate met by chance these 2 monks, selling a cassock and a priestly staff. I thought of the priest, Shenzong, who might wear this garment. For this reason, we asked to have an audience with your majesty." Highly pleased, Taizong asked for the price of the cassock. The Bodhisattva and Mach-A stood at the foot of the steps but did not bow at all. When asked the price of the cassock, the Bodhisattva replied, 5,000 taels for the cassock and 2,000 for the priestly staff. "What's so good about the cassock?" said Taizong. "That it should cost so much," the Bodhisattva said. "Of this cassock, a dragon which wears but 1 shred will miss the woe of being devoured by the great rock. Or a crane on which 1 thread is hung will transcend this world and reach the place of the gods. Sit in it. 10,000 gods will salute you. Move with it. 7 Buddhas will follow you." This cassock was made of silk drawn from ice silkworm, and threads spun by skilled craftsmen. Immortal girls did the weaving. Divine maidens helped at the loom. Bit by bit, the parts were sewn and embroidered. Stitch by stitch, it arose, a brocade from the heddle. Its pellucid weave, finer than ornate blooms. Its colors, brilliant, emit precious light. Wear it, and crimson mist will surround your frame. Doff it, and see the colored clouds take flight. Outside the 3 heavens door its primal light was seen. Before the 5 mountains its magic aura grew. Inlaid are layers of lotus from the west. And hanging pearls shine like planets and stars. On 4 corners are pearls that glow at night. On top stays fastened an emerald, though lacking the all-seeing primal form. It's held by 8 treasures all aglow. This cassock you keep folded at leisure. You wear it to meet sages. When it's kept folded at leisure, its rainbow-like hues cut through 1,000 wrappings. When you wear it to meet sages, all heaven takes fright, both demons and gods. On top are the D pearl, the Ma-I pearl, the dust-clearing pearl, the wind-stopping pearl. There are also the red cornalin, the purple coral, the luminescent pearl, the Sariputra. They rob the moon of its whiteness. They match the sun in its redness. In waves its divine aura imbues the sky. In flashes its brightness lifts up its perfection. In waves its divine aura imbues the sky, flooding the gate of heaven. In flashes its brightness lifts up its perfection, lighting up the whole world, shining upon the mountains and the streams. It wakens tigers and leopards, lighting up the isles and the seas. It moves dragons and fishes. Along its edges hang 2 chains of melted gold, and joins the collars a ring of snow-white jade. The poem says, "The August 3 jewels most noble truths, judge all 4 creatures on the 6-fold path. The mind brightened feeds on God's law and man's. The nature perceived transmits the wisdom lamp. Solemn Varadhatu guards one's body, when a mind's pure like ice in flasks of jade. Since Buddha caused this cassock to be made, which 10,000 kalpas could harm a monk." When the Tang Emperor, who was up in the treasure hall, heard these words, he was highly pleased. "Tell me, priest," he asked again, "what's so good about the 9-ring priestly staff?" "My staff," said the Bodhisattva, "has on it 9 joined rings made of iron and set in bronze, and 9 joints of vine immortal, ever young. When held, it scorns the sight of aging bones. It leaves the mount to return with fleecy clouds. It roamed through heaven with the 5th patriarch. It broke hell's gate where Luo Bo sought his mom, not soiled by the filth of this red dust world. It gladly trails the god monk up Mount Jade." When the Tang Emperor heard these words, he gave the order to have the cassock spread open so that he might examine it carefully from top to bottom. It was indeed a marvelous thing. "Venerable elder of the great law," he said, "we shall not deceive you. At this very moment we have exalted the religion of mercy and planted abundantly in the fields of blessing. You may see many priests assembled in the temple of transformation to perform the law and the sutras. In their midst is a man of great merit and virtue, whose religious name is Shenzhen. We wish, therefore, to purchase these 2 treasure objects from you to give them to him. How much do you really want for these things?" Hearing these words, the Bodhisattva and Mach-A folded their hands and gave praise to the Buddha. "If he is a man of virtue and merit," she said to the throne, bowing, "this humble cleric is willing to give them to him. I shall not accept any money." She finished speaking and turned at once to leave. The Tang Emperor quickly asked Xiao Yu to hold her back. Standing up in the hall, he bowed low before saying, "Previously you claimed that the cassock was worth 5,000 taels of silver, and the staff 2,000. Now that you see we want to buy them, you refuse to accept payment. Are you implying that we would bank on our position and take your possession by force? That's absurd. We shall pay you according to the original sum you asked for. Please do not refuse it." Raising her hands for a salutation, the Bodhisattva said, "This humble cleric made a vow before, stating that anyone who reveres the 3 treasures, rejoices in virtue, and submits to our Buddha will be given these treasures free. Since it is clear that your Majesty is eager to magnify virtue, to rest in excellence, and to honor our Buddhist faith, by having an illustrious monk proclaim the great law, it is my duty to present these gifts to you. I shall take no money for them. They will be left here, and this humble cleric will take leave of you." When the Tang Emperor saw that she was so insistent, he was very pleased. He ordered the court of banquets to prepare a huge vegetarian feast to thank the Bodhisattva, who firmly declined that also. She left amiably and went back to her hiding place at the temple of the local spirit, which we shall mention no further. We tell you now about Taizong, who held a noon court, and asked Wei Zheng to summon Shenzhen to an audience. That master of the law was just leading the monks in chanting sutras and reciting gayas. When he heard the emperor's decree, he left the platform immediately and followed Wei Zheng to come before the throne. "We have greatly troubled our master," said Taizong. To render exemplary good works, for which we have hardly anything to offer you in thanks. This morning Xiao Yu came upon 2 monks who were willing to present us with a brocaded cassock with rare treasures and a 9-ring priestly staff. We therefore call specially for you so that you may receive them for your enjoyment and use. Shenzong kowtowed to express his thanks. If our master of the law is willing, said Taizong, please put the garment on for us to have a look. The priest accordingly shook open the cassock and draped it on his body, holding the staff in his hands. As he stood before the steps, ruler and subjects were all delighted. Here was a true child of Tathagata. Look at him. His looks imposing, how elegant and fine. This robe of Buddha fits him like a glove. Its most lustrous splendor spills o'er the world. Its bright colors imbue the universe. Up and down are set rows of shining pearls. Back and front thread layers of golden cords. Brocade gilds the robe's edges all around, with patterns embroidered most varied and rare. Shaped like 8 treasures are the thread-made frogs. A gold ring joins the collars with velvet loops. It shows on top and bottom heaven's ranks. And stars, great and small, are placed left and right. Great is the fortune of Shenzeng the priest, now most deserving of this precious thing. He seems a living arhat from the west, or even better than its true elite. He holds his staff and all its 9 rings clang. Benefic in his Varokana hat. A true Buddha child, it's no idle tale. He matches the body and that's no lie.